And I've added to that for the man to ask the question, what does us having sex mean to you? That's kind of a consent question. And I'll give you a quick example of how we're trained not to talk about this stuff. In my book, Dating Essentials for Men, I talk with men about having what I call the pre-sex talk. You've been dating a woman, it's gotten to the point, it's hot and heavy, clothes are about to come off. And I recommend that men pause and just say to the woman, okay, looks like clothes are about to come off. Let's have a quick talk and talk about diseases, STDs, talk about unwanted pregnancy, talk about fertility, talk about protection, talk about what if we do have an unwanted pregnancy. And I've added to that for the man to ask the question, what does us having sex mean to you? That's kind of a consent question. Because if you ask a woman, what does us having sex together mean to you? That's implying we're going to have sex. And if she says what it means to her, that's her way of consenting. Yeah, that's the direction we're going. So I have men, I strongly encourage them to have this conversation. Talk about, are we going to wear a condom? Does one of us have one? Does either of us have a sexually transmitted disease? Are we fertile? Could we risk, having a pregnancy here? And are we both consensual? And I'll say, and it's a real good idea not to do this while you're drinking or drunk, because that's not particularly consensual. You know what? Every guy I talk to about doing this goes, oh, I'm afraid of doing that. What if she has what if she has a bad reaction? What if she goes off on me? What if it ruins the whole moment? And I've had these talks and I've never had it ruin the moment. In every case, the woman has said, thank you for having that conversation. No man has ever done that with me. The woman actually feels safer and more trusting and more ready to take her clothes off because she feels trust. She feels safe. She feels secure.